Businesses, whether big or small, rely on processes for them to function properly and efficiently. These processes then need to be documented so team members have a point of reference to go back to whenever they need a refresher. Processes can be documented in a number of ways, such as creating video tutorials, operations manuals, and/or creating process maps. Video tutorials are videos created for internal consumption, which shows a step-by-step procedure of the process being discussed. Operations manuals, on the other hand, are documents that team members read, which provide detailed information and steps on the process. Lastly, process maps are also documents which provide steps relating to the process. The difference between an operations manual and a process map is that operations manuals are made of texts and images, whereas process maps show a visual representation of the process through diagrams. It's also worth noting that process maps are based off of operations manuals. Process maps can be created through different software, but the most applicable one to use is LucidChart. And so, for today's video, we will be discussing how to create a process map using LucidChart. Hi there, I'm Ozzy from the Online Seller Circle, where we provide help and support to online business owners. If you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you get notified whenever we release new videos. And now, let's get down to business. The first thing you need to do is to go to LucidChart. If you or your organization doesn't have a LucidChart account yet, then all you have to do is to go to www.lucidchart.com, then click on Sign Up for Free. You can also click on the pricing to check the different pricing plans they have. On the flip side, if you already have a LucidChart account, then just click Log In. To start creating your process map, you have to trace and document the steps for your process first. You can do this by literally simulating what the steps are and taking notes of it. In this example, we will be creating a process map for accepting new members to the group. First, we go to the Facebook group. In this case, it's the Online Seller Circle, our Facebook group. Then, we go to Member Requests. Next, we check if the potential member answered all the questions correctly. In the event that one or all questions were not answered, then we decline the request with feedback. Also, if the potential member answered all questions but did not provide the correct ones, like not providing a correct email address, then we also decline and provide feedback. If, on the other hand, all questions were answered and were answered correctly, then we will approve the request. Then that's it. What you have to remember when creating a process map is what your end goal is. After we've simulated the steps for the process, we now take note of it. Then we will use the notes to create our process map. When noting the steps for your process, you can either literally just open a blank document from Google Doc or Microsoft Word, or if it's a process with lots of steps, then it'll be better if you would create a formal and proper operations manual before you create your process map. But for this example, since this is just a simple process, we will just literally dump the steps that we have simulated earlier in a blank Microsoft Word document. So here we have documented that the first step is to go to the Online Seller Circle Facebook group. We go to Member Requests, check if the potential member answered all the questions correctly. Are all questions answered? Yes. Go to step 5. If no, decline and provide feedback. Are all questions answered correctly? Yes. Go to step 6. If no, decline and provide feedback. And the last one would be approve member request. Now, since we have already taken notes of the steps, then we are now ready to create our process map. To start creating your process map, all you have to do is go to LucidChart and then select New, and then LucidChart, and then blank document. Once the blank diagram has opened, the next thing you have to do is to name your process map, or your file. So in this example, we will name this as accepting of new members. Okay, and then the next thing that you have to do is to select the shapes that you'll be using for your process map. Within our organization or within our team, we use BPMN 2.0. So we will be deleting all of these, and we will click Shape Library, and then we will select BPMN 2.0. So you can see BPMN 2.0 is the most up-to-date version of business process modeling notation. So model common business activities like tasks, transactions, and events. And then we will click Use Selected Shapes. Okay, so now that we have done that, we will now start creating your process map. Select Start Event. Just click and drag it to your diagram. And you can name this event. In this case, since we are accepting, normally to start a process or to start your process map, it has to have a trigger. So think of what the trigger is for this specific process. We will name the starting point as new member request since it is the trigger for us to do the process or to do this specific process. Member requests come in, and then we check the member request section, and then we do the rest of the steps. So the next thing that you have to do is to select task. And then just drag and drop it again. And add an arrow by clicking the red dot, going to the next section. Then we add a step within the shape that you have dragged and dropped within your diagram. So in this case, we'll be adding Go to Online Seller Circle FB group, and you have to select the type of task for that specific step. You can choose either send, receive, user, manual, business rule, survey, script. Most of the time, we only use user or manual. The difference between the two is that user, we use this task type when that specific step uses an application or a software to enable you to fulfill that task. So in this case, since we are going to use internet or the Internet Explorer or Safari or Google Chrome, that's considered as an application or software. So we'll be using user. But if the task or the step does not require you to use any software or application, then you can use manual. A perfect example of this would be if you're asked to go to a specific place to pick up something, then you don't need to use any software or application to do that. All you have to do is to physically just walk to that specific place or drive to that specific place to fulfill the task. So again, we'll be using user for this specific step. Then I'll be filling in the other tasks or steps within the diagram. And then when I come back, I'll explain each and every step with you. So I'm back. Now we've basically filled in all of the steps within the diagram. So first, the trigger will be a new member request. Now we added a user task, which says go to Online Seller Circle FB group. Then the next task is a user task as well, which says go to member requests. Then there's a question wherein did potential member answer all questions? And then we added a gateway here. So for gateway, this one is an exclusive gateway type, which means that for you to continue within the process, you have to only choose one path. So in this case, the question says, did potential member answer all questions? And the gateway type exclusive asks you to choose whether yes or no. So for yes, the next one that you need to do is to answer the question, did potential member answer all questions correctly? Then another gateway, and it's again another exclusive gateway, which asks you yes or no. So for the first gateway, if you've answered no, if the potential member did not answer all questions, so that's a no. The next thing that you need to do is to decline and provide feedback. Then that's already the end of the process, because you can't do anything else with that. Once you've declined and provided feedback, you just have to wait for the person to send in another request, and hopefully this time they're able to answer all the questions that they have to answer. Then that's another trigger for you to start the process again. So the next gateway is that, did potential member answer all questions correctly? It's again another yes or no question. So if it's a yes, you approve the request and that's the end of the process. And if it's a no, again, you decline and provide feedback and that's the end of the process as well. Sometimes there are processes that would give you two different end process scenarios, like this one. So, in this case, the first scenario that you have to end the process is that you approve a request. Then, the next scenario that you have is you decline and provide feedback, and still, that's the end of the process. But there are times that a process ends with only one scenario, with only a single goal for the process. That's it. That's how easy it is to create a process map using LucidChart. As you can see, LucidChart is such a great application and software that you'll be able to deploy within your business if you're an e-commerce business owner. Or if you are an individual, you'll also be able to use LucidChart to create process maps for your daily tasks. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. That's it for now. Thank you for watching. Bye!